Well, hello again. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. I'm here to bring you the latest as what has come in the store this week and new releases and bits of news, if there are any, to relay. This week, not a whole lot to talk about except, last week I mentioned Beatles box set coming November 22nd, early albums in mono, the US albums. So you're aware of that. There are other box sets that have been announced. There's Weezer's Blue album, Green Day's American Idiot. Those are getting box sets around Halloween. Also, supposedly there's word the new Cure album is actually dropping November 1st. Has yet to be confirmed, but that's very exciting if that's the case. I've seen some videos floating around the internet recently, the YouTube sphere, as it were, regarding where record sales are now. And I think I've spoken before about how the pricing on certain things has sort of gotten out of control. It's very much plateaued. I don't really feel like with too many things, they're not really pushing the prices at this point. I feel like there's going to start being a little bit of a relaxation on some of that. Um, but I don't know. There are some things that I find disconcerting about people who are talking about how collecting records isn't fun for them anymore. Look, I've been doing this for 35 years, and for people to say, "Oh, I'm kind of getting burnt out or whatever," well, then maybe I'm not sure why you were in it in the first place. I mean, I think that everyone goes through ebbs and flows of things in their life, and to kind of just throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, I'm done. And obviously, I'm not coming from a completely unbiased position, but I'm a music fan and a music lover. I got into this whole business because of my love for music and my love for vinyl and my love for physical product, and it's probably going to stay that way until my last breath. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of in this space of trying to comprehend the people that are sort of everything hinges for them on what kind of money they're eventually going to make flipping their collection or some kind of BS like that. I'm sorry. I'm here for the music. I never really cared about the value of the record until everybody started talking about, oh, look at how much. And I'm not saying that that's my overriding thing at all. It's an interesting fact about certain records. Has it made me sell any of my records because of the amount of money I can get from them? No. So, uh, I could go on and on about this. You guys are here to see new releases, so let me get to that. But I'm just saying it hasn't changed my perspective on things. I still love vinyl. I feel so glad and so, I don't know, surprised and humbled in a way that someone out in the world at the record labels or wherever decided to bring them back for us a second time after it looked like it was gone for good, because this is actually a labor of love in a lot of ways. So, all right. I'm an ultimate optimist. What can I say? I mean, even when things go bad, maybe that's a problem. I don't know. All right, so big first new release this week, box set. This is the Grateful Dead Duke 78. And I love this cover in a way. I mean, it's weird. It's shiny. Gotta love the cat. Um, yes, cat lover here. But I love this box, this presentation. This is 4 LP set. Turn down the lights and experience the magic of the Dead's Duke 78 live performance, featuring a unique and powerful rendition of Truckin', Achingly Beautiful Peggy-O, and one of the most intense and exciting Rhythm Devils interludes ever. Mastered by Jeffrey Norman from the original tapes produced for release by David Lemieux, limited edition of 7,800, and it runs about $100. 4 records. It's not too bad for 4 records. You Dead fans out there, you better get ready. All right. Let's see. As long as I'm on the box sets, I grab this out of a corner here. Bob Dylan and the band. This is their live 1974 tour. You can see 27 CDs, y'all. 27 track listings. There are 2 concerts here, 3 at the Spectrum, Philadelphia, when the Spectrum existed. I was in there once or twice. I saw Depeche Mode there, I think. I can't remember who else. But anyway, Janet Jackson. Yeah, so Bob Dylan. This is kind of a cool little brick. Sells for about 129. 120, yeah. So there's that. Okay, moving right along. Phish. Hoist. Well, Phish just recently reissued Junta, Rift, and Picture of Nectar. And now we get Hoist, which is great because this one was kind of hard to find for a while. Some were harder to find than others, but this one was kind of difficult. Phish's 5th studio album, released in 1994. The new 2 LP laser beams color vinyl pressing, lacquers cut from the original half-inch flat masters by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grundman. So it's going to sound good. And this is one of my first memories of moving to the Philadelphia area in 1993. And this was one of the first records that came out that was pretty big after moving here that I was like, oh my gosh. You know, it was like Phish and Dave Matthews were just like exploding at that time. So whether you love them or hate them, they were huge. So let's see. And another live record was pretty cool that they decided to put out this week. Fleetwood Mac and the Mirage Tour. And this is live recordings from the Los Angeles Forum, October 21 and 22, 1982. Includes 6 previously unreleased tracks. So some of this was released before, I guess. This is a 3-record set. Features things like Don't Stop, Dreams, Oh Well, Rhiannon, Gypsy, Love and Store, Landslide, Tusk, Sarah, Hold Me, You Make Loving Fun, Go Your Own Way, Sisters of the Moon, and Songbird, among others. So that was just a sort of a overview of tracks. But yeah, 3-record set. So I'm so glad that they're going back and kind of bringing out a lot of this live stuff, because these bands, they played live so much. And in many cases, they didn't have too much live material released or whatever. All right, so big news this week. Finally, we're getting the second half of the Sade reissues. So, Love Deluxe. I love this album. I've loved it since I heard it back in 1991, 90, 92. God, has it been 32 years? This album is amazing. And, you know, this was her 4th album. And she had already done like sort of, I guess the band is Sade, but her name is Sade. They'd already done very like kind of jazzy and kind of jazz pop. And this was sort of a move a little more towards a subtle kind of a hip hop meets islandy kind of feel to stuff. But this had the huge single, No Ordinary Love, that was featured in, I'm trying to remember which movie it was. Wasn't it a Demi Moore film or something like that? Also, other singles, Kiss of Life, which is a beautiful song, and Cherish the Day. The songs that really get me, Like a Tattoo, Gorgeous, Pearls. Oh my God, Pearls. I get choked up thinking about that song. It's so good. Bulletproof Soul, Mermaid. Oh, thank you. I don't know why I'm getting so choked up. I own that album already. It's been out on music on vinyl for a while. But I'm just so glad that you guys get the chance to get it finally. That's what the joy of this brings me is seeing other people get to experience Lovers Rock. Another incredible album, but we had to wait about 10 years because once Love Deluxe came out, she started putting about 10 years between records, and right now they're about due for the next one, which they keep promising. These were released, I think, in a box set that was very hard to get and sort of limited, so some of you may have these already, but a lot of people who just want these albums that maybe already have the early ones, this one is the one with By Your Side. Ugh. What a song. I'm getting choked up just talking about him. King of Sorrow, Slave Song, Immigrant. I can't right now. Soldier of Love. Jesus. Great album. This is the most recent of the three. This is actually the most recent album she's done. And The Moon in the Sky, great opener. Soldier of Love, what an incredible song. Morning Bird. I can't. All right, moving right along. You know, the world is in such a cold and disarrayed place right now. It really, when I see things that remind me of love and people getting along, that's what all this is about, man. All right. Bright Eyes and Five Dice, all threes. It's the latest from Conor Oberst. It's been a while. Limited edition red and orange splatter. Includes the singles Bells and Whistles, Rainbow Overpass, and all threes featuring Cat Power. One of the last things I heard from him was his Better Oblivion. I can't remember the name of their band all the time. It's so long. Better Oblivion Community Center, whatever. It's the album he did with Phoebe Bridgers. So, and Connor's had a lot of issues and has had to cancel tours and whatever, but you know, still going. Great writer. Pay attention. So, Hippocampus and their new record Flood. This is I can't remember which album this is in their number of records, but features the singles Paranoid and Forget It, indie retail exclusive Clear Galaxy vinyl, double LP. Hippocampus, they're sort of like one of the new bands out there, just sort of like really blowing up. So starts with the track Prayer Man, then Paranoid, Fences, Everything at Once. So Paranoid is the single. New album from Keith Urban, fresh off his stints on reality shows. Brand new album featuring Messed Up As Me, Wildside, and Chuck Taylor's. Nice to see Mr. Nicole Kidman still out there doing it. Australia, one of their best country singers. Of course, there's a duet with Lainey Wilson on here. So Keith Urban. This one, I don't want to laugh about it because I think it's gone through so much. She's gone through so much drama with the songs from this and the producer that was tapped. But Katy Perry and her new record, 143. I don't know, can I show these covers? Pretty racy. But not. It's so airbrushed. Let's see. Katy Perry, it says exclusive limited edition clear blue vinyl and alternative artwork. Yeah, this is not I think this is the official album cover, but this is what's on the front. So I don't know what to say about that, but it's very airbrushed. Seether still making records. Let's see. This is The surface seems so far, weaves haunting vocals with heavy riffs and melodic nuances, creating an immersive sonic journey. Featuring Judas, Mind, and Walls Come Down. Well, I don't know. That was a pretty glib sort of description, don't you think? Who's employed writing these hype stickers? And what kind of qualifications do you need to have that? Maybe that's the job I should have instead of this. You guys be up for that? I could just give this up and maybe start writing hype stickers for people. I don't know. I don't have an English degree, but I can speak the language, I suppose. Jamie XX. Sometimes. Jamie XX in Waves. Oh my gosh, I love this cover. Ugh. What's this doing to your screen? It's doing crazy stuff to mine. White vinyl. Jamie from the band The XX. And people are like, some people are like, what are you talking about? Well, we had albums last year from Oliver Sim and Romy, the two other vocalist members of the XX, and now we get Jamie. He's the DJ, music Svengali, the guy who hangs in the background and makes beats and produces their albums, and talented guy. So good to see that. It's been a long time, 8-9 years, I don't know, it's been a long time. Okay, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, and this is his new record, Dirt on My Diamonds Volume 2. Volume 1 came out last year. Get Dirty and Gritty on part 2 of Kenny's latest road trip. Blue marble vinyl, 180 gram. So, I don't know. Kenny must be in his 40s now. I remember when this guy came out and he was like a 17-year-old wonder kid and everybody really loved him. And good for him. He's still going strong, still making records. He doesn't need my validation. All right. Another kind of blues duo here. J.D. Simo and Luther Dickinson. Is that Simo? I don't think it's Simo. I think it's Simo. And the album Do the Rump. Luther Dickinson, the guy who started, or is not started, but leader of North Mississippi All Stars. They look like a motley crew, don't they? Luther plays vocals, guitar, and bass. So does JD. Yeah, this was produced and mixed by them. Looks like 8 tracks, including Do the Rump on 40 Below Records. So London Grammar. This actually came out last week, but came in a little late, so I don't think it made the video. The Greatest Love, the new album pressed to 12-inch yellow bio vinyl. Bio meaning using existing vinyl product or something like that. So, I don't know. So you're being environmentally conscious. The first song is called House, and the second song is called Fakest Bitch. Okay. I think this is supposed to be a PC video. I don't know, but or PG-13. It does have a parental advisory on it. Maybe London Grammar are trying to kind of like I don't know, get a little more like edgy or something, because I think she's got a really great voice, lead singer, but I feel like maybe they were kind of pegged as being safe or something, so maybe they're trying to move away from that. This also came out a little while ago, and I don't know if I showed it, but people knew it was out if you were watching our Facebook page. But Sheltering Skies, King Crimson, this is a reissue, 1982, I believe, a 1980s King Crimson concert in Fréjus, France. I don't know if that's how you say that. Taken from the original multi-track tapes by Robert Fripp and Brad Davis. 200 gram super heavyweight vinyl. This features Adrian Belew. It was his incarnation as lead singer. So I guess, well, this does feature Lark's Tongues and Aspect Part 2. But and Red is on here also. So anyway, but apparently they didn't play a lot of their most iconic stuff on that tour, which is why it's interesting, because it's sort of different stuff. The Damned, AD 2022. This is a long awaited reunion show. This is an energetic 21 song set drawn from the first two studio albums, Damned, 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 and Music for Pleasure. For the first time on vinyl, very first time, Rat Scabies, Captain Sensible, Dave Anian, and James, first name, but yeah. Four sides of Damned stuff. I mean, Damned were a great punk band. I don't know. Oh, this was done at the Apollo Manchester, March 11th, 2022. So, all right, I gotta keep going through these or I'm gonna get stuck here. Cher and Forever Classics on crystal clear vinyl. That's a kind of a racy cover there. It's nice to see her with the brunette again too. You know, she was doing the blonde there for a while. It wasn't bad. It just didn't look like Cher to me. That looks like Cher to me there, right? I mean, we're talking Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves days, right? So anyway, this is like a greatest hits. If this is her, she looks amazing for her age. I know she's had a lot of work done. She'd probably be the first person to tell you that. But Believe, If I Could Turn Back Time, her cover of Walking in Memphis, Song for the Lonely, Strong Enough, Shoop Shoop Song, another cover, SOS, her ABBA cover, Found Someone, Save Up All Your Tears, One by One, After All with Peter Cetera, Heart of Stone, The Way of Love, I Hope You Send It, Take Me Home, cover, right? No, hers was the original. That's right. That's been covered by other people. Gimme, 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 cover of ABBA song. Woman's World, Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, Dark Lady, You Haven't Seen the Last of Me, and DJ Play a Christmas Song, which is the most recent. No Half Breed. Maybe I guess that's not PC in 2024, but it's got most every Cher song that I think is all the biggest ones in general. No Sunny there, but you'll have to buy a different album for that. A couple of Blue Note classics this week. Gene Harris and the Three Sounds live at the It Club. Blue Note does such an amazing job with these. Yes, I'm going to say the name Kevin Gray. Henry Franklin on bass, Carl Burnett on drums. And then the other one, I believe that you say her name Jutta. It's Jutta Hip. And this album is at the Hickory House, Volume 1, Blue Note Classic. And she's playing piano with Peter End on bass and Ed Thigpen on drums. And she does, I'll remember April, Mad About the Boy, Ain't Misbehavin', These Foolish Things, Jeepers Creepers. Talented pianist and one that's forgotten quite a bit and did record a few records, a couple records for Blue Note. So they didn't have many female people on the label, so it really is something like you got to take note. Another thing that looks pretty cool, Sarah Vaughan and her album Sassy. Isn't that the name of the cat that went missing in Springfield, Ohio, was Miss Sassy? How ironic. The cat wasn't missing. It was in the woman's basement. Anyway, so this is mastered from the original analog tapes by QRP, tip-on gatefold sleeve. This is classic Sarah at some of her best when she was just like breaking out. Lush Life, I'm the Girl, Shake Down the Stars, I've Got Some Crying to Do, My Romance, A Sinner Kissed an Angel, I'm Afraid the Masquerade is Over. Pretty cool. And another jazz, I kind of put all the jazz stuff together. Jazz female, Dorothy Ashby's Afro Harping. And this is a very sort of difficult record to find good pressings of. And this one looks like it's pretty good. It's on Verve. It was done in conjunction with Cadet Records. It's a deluxe edition, remastered from the original quarter-inch tapes, includes 8 previously unreleased tracks, and an 8-page insert with extensive notes featuring soul vibrations. Dorothy played harp, Afro harping. She also played things like the koto, that Japanese instrument, and she could be very soulful. It almost sometimes gets more to like neo soul or that kind of um, more like civil rights kind of soul at times. But I think she's just she also gets very like psychedelic soul is sort of what I'm going for here, like the kind of Alice Coltrane. But yeah, this features theme from Valley of the Dolls and The Look of Love. So some of it she's referencing music that was popular at the time, but those are really cool records. Very hard to find. I just love that other one that they put out last year. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Someone will say what it was out there. I know I still have it in stock, but it was a great. Chick Corea's Electric Band, and this is sort of an interesting cover. Eye of the Beholder, and it's a little creepy. And there's a tiny little cow down there. I'm assuming that's a toy, and this isn't the actual size of the little girl compared to the size of the cow. Uh, Sorry, I'm getting a little existential there. There's a picture of the guys on the back. Um, so this is a chick with Dave Weckl, John Patitucci, Eric Marienthal, and Frank Gabali. I think that's how you say that. Yeah, it wasn't really smooth jazz, more like a jazz fusion kind of stuff. Um, well, I think there's some people that might be looking for this, the Get Up Kids, and this is their album. Sure, same thing to something to write home about. Don't say that I don't stumble over my words sometimes. 25th anniversary deluxe edition. This is the scene-defining seminal sophomore album. It's been completely remastered by Joe Laporta at Sterling Sound and now includes a second disc of demos and rarities on silver nugget vinyl. It's kind of cool too. It's got like this embossed silver cover where the titles are written. And then the back also, all the song titles are in silver. Nice. I really love this album, and a lot of people don't know it because it did not come out under either of their. Well, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is Lux Prima by Karen O and Danger Mouse. I think because it wasn't billed as a Yeah Yeah Yeahs record, because it was Karen with Danger Mouse, a lot of people missed it. And I managed to get one of these when it was out the first time. It's a very good album if you like kind of the hazier side of Danger Mouse and you want something from Karen O that's not it's not all amped up and like it's too excitable. I think the last Yeah Yeah Yeahs record that kind of was like an 8-track album that they did. It wasn't like 8-track tape, but it was an album that had 8 songs on it because I remember I loved it. I just wished it was longer, but it was closer to this kind of sound, I think, than say like the Maps era Yeah Yeah Yeahs. But it's a very good. It's kind of more like the stuff that Danger Mouse did with the Shins, maybe a little James Mercer. Not quite that happy sounding, but very good record, and it's good to see that get reissued. Also, Perfume Genius and his album Too Bright. I think this is, I don't know if it's his best, but it's one of his best. As Mike Hadras. 10th anniversary clear vinyl with breakthrough single Queen. And if you're into like anything between David Bowie and Anthony and the Johnsons, it's kind of like a mix. It's sort of like or Anani. It's sort of like a glam rock, kind of glam rocky, but sort of electronic type also. He's good. His material is usually what wins me over more than sometimes the presentation, but I think he's very talented. Butthole Surfers have a couple of reissues. Hairway to Steven. This was kind of a big college rock radio album several years ago. That one, and also then we got the other one this week, Locust Abortion Technician. Boy, I'm saying some really like uh, incendiary things today. Don't blame me. This is the name of the album. So, all right. But get your butthole surfers here, right? Oh gosh. I mean, it just has to make you laugh, doesn't it? And then, what a great movie! And we get a soundtrack for Ghost World. Young Scarlett Johansson there, ScarJo. Um, Unfortunately, the other girl, Thora Birch, didn't go on to quite as much success, but she's a good actress. But Scarlett's done well. I don't even need to say. Also featured Steve Buscemi was in this movie quite a bit, and Brad Renfro, Ileana Douglas, who I used to love. I don't see her as much anymore either, but great actress. What a cool movie, and it had a really good soundtrack. It was very kind of blues referencing. This is like a lot of old blues stuff, and then some kind of quirky music too, because it was kind of like that era when, hey, vinyl records. You collect vinyl records. That was like a part of Steve Buscemi and his like. She was drawing comics and whatever. It was kind of like those things that what I was just talking about a little while ago. Stuff that the love of like music through vinyl and stuff, and things that brought people together in those sorts of ways. So I guess I should really quick here because I have a stack of CDs. So let me just show a couple of these that I didn't show on vinyl because they're interesting. New Ghostface Killah. His new album Set the Tone. I think this has Nas and some other people on it, but it's in this little tin can. Paul McCartney. They're doing SHM, the Super High Bit, whatever, Japanese pressings of these albums. So if you want really, really, I mean, it's like having super audio. They've done Wings, Wildlife, McCartney, Red Rose Speedway, and Band on the Run. There's also Ram, which I haven't gotten yet. It's coming tomorrow, just in time for new release day. So, another thing that came out, Rainbow Live 1977. So if you're into live Rainbow stuff, I mean, maybe you are. Let's see. This part of the video I was not as prepared for. Sorry. I just don't want to show you guys things that you have to see again. Sam Phillips, Boot in a Shoe. This was a really good record of hers. And this is the female Sam Phillips, the one that was Leslie Phillips, that was married to T-Bone Burnett for a while. They are no longer, unfortunately, but this reissue came from Non-Such Records. It was produced by T-Bone Burnett. I don't know, this doesn't have the date on the cover. But some of the songs were featured in Gilmore Girls. It's the 20th anniversary. Her music was all over Gilmore Girls. If you watch that show, it's like all of the in-between music with Sam Phillips. John Murray and Michael Timmons. And this is, I think, a movie about John Murray, but it's called A Little Bit of Grace and Decay. Michael Timmons, member of Cowboy Junkies. So that's a soundtrack. Herb Alpert, 50. This is sort of a collection. I don't know if this is new stuff or what this, because he does like Are You Lonesome Tonight and Baubles, Bangles, and Beads. Herb is like 90-something. Weave. I still haven't figured out how to say this. This is Graham Coxon of Blur and Rose Eleanor Dougal of the Pipettes. This is their second album together. The first one I don't think did all that great, but this one seems to have a little more buzz, so we'll see how that goes. I guess Graham needs something to do when he's not playing for Duran Duran or reuniting with Blur. They used it's a new album called Meds. Some of these things I don't have on vinyl, but I will be able to get them. Steve Forbert, Daylight Savings Time. This is the latest Steve Forbert record. Let's see. I don't think Katy Perry, Nubia Garcia, her new record Odyssey. She's kind of like jazzy, but like I don't know, she's kind of interesting. She's getting good write-ups. There's a new Gong CD. This is I think it's a special edition of Unending Ascending. Sorry, featuring 6 bonus live tracks. Released on K-Scope, which is Steven Wilson's label, or a label that a lot of Porcupine Tree stuff is on. And then a reissue of Tubular Bells 50th anniversary performed by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. And this is, see, it's basically Mike Oldfield's epic masterpiece done with orchestra. All right. So I was going to mention real quick my sort of recommend of the week and then tie this up. So I haven't really talked about this band all that much, and because they really only did 3 full lengths and an EP collection, and then they broke up for like 25 years, came back, did an EP, and were recording an album, went out on tour, decided they didn't like each other, and broke up again. So the lead singer, though, both of the lead singer, or the 2 singers, have gone on and are doing other things. But Lush, this is their technically 3rd, but really kind of 4th album. Love Life, if you count Gala as the first album, even though it's really a collection. So Lush, this was their album from 1996. Lush were a quartet from England, and lead singers Mickey Berenyi and Emma Anderson sort of led the group. It was not long after this album came out that they broke up because drummer Chris Ackland committed suicide, and they were just like, we're done. I think what seemed like it happened was they were very highly talked about in the shoegaze world. If you were into like My Bloody Valentine or Slow Dive and bands like that had these kind of drifty guitar sounds, and Lush were getting pushed by the labels to be a little more like accessible, and so this was their kind of Brit-poppiest album during that era. Oasis, Blur were very popular, and it was an attempt to kind of get them into that market a little bit more. And a lot of the shoegaze fans, of course, decried blasphemy and whatever. But this is a really, really, really good, catchy pop record. Girl singers, 90s power pop. And I think it just got sort of buried, unfortunately, because of the problems. American label didn't know how to promote it. They had them out on tour opening for the Gin Blossoms, which was maybe not the best fit for them. Anyway, this is their last record. There's a great duet on here with Jarvis Cocker called Chow. That's kind of like a back and forth type song. Jarvis Cocker of Pulp, that almost sounds a little bit like old like Nancy Sinatra, Lee Hazelwood type thing, or more like a Pulp song, really. And Pulp is actually now back out on tour and maybe even releasing new music as well. Jarvis is one of a kind of singer too. But the album starts with Lady Killers, which is a really good kiss-off anthem, basically about it's a female empowerment song, and it's got kind of a darker, rockier edge than some of Lush's other material. But it's a very direct sort of thing. And thing is, on this album is the first time that you can really hear the lyrics really well. Cocteau Twins sort of tried that with Four Calendar Cafe. It's like the only record that you can really understand of theirs, what the lead singer is, what Liz Fraser's saying a lot of the time. This one is even further, I think, where the others were. You could understand Mickey or Emma, whoever was singing, but this one, you really get the lyrics a lot better generally. But so anyway, Lady Killer's a great song to open with. Heavenly Nobodies was the second song, and that song is sort of written to Courtney Love at the time, and it was sort of like it wasn't really a diss, but it was sort of like, be careful what you wish for. You really maybe don't want to meet your idols. Sometimes that's not the way to go. 500, the third song on here, was the first one written by Emma, who is like the second singer and guitarist. And that one was written about her Fiat and how she was in love with her car, and kind of used it as like a sort of a kind of a connection to like if the car was a man or if the car was someone in a relationship. It could be any, sort of relationship. The album goes through a lot of different kinds of moods. Single Girl is a very catchy type pop song, and they really apparently didn't like it and were like thinking it was maybe a B-side. It ended up being like a single. And then side two is probably a little more like different kinds of moods, I think. Last Night is a very kind of Cure-ish type sounding song. It's got like these little chimey keyboards and reverbed guitars that sound like something maybe from Wish. Childcatcher and Runaway are a little more rocky, and ends with Olympia, which is a very kind of sort of like a song about, from one woman to another, about admiration, about like, oh, I'd really like to meet you because you're so, will I ever be like you? You're so beautiful, and I'm kind of not. And but then it ends with this really cool, like it sort of stops, and then there's this very cool horn outro, like a almost like brass. It has brass instruments, trombones, trumpets, whatever. Kind of reminds me of parts of like REM's Reveal, how they did that a little bit. So anyway, I highly recommend Lush's Love Life. I mean, their other albums are, the earlier ones are like shoegaze masterpieces, really. I think Split and Spooky, great albums. But if you're looking for something that's like a good entry point, that's kind of catchy, if you like sort of catchy female driven rock, that was sort of maybe like something that the Go-Go's would have been doing in like the mid 90s, maybe, if they were British. So that's great. Emma Anderson, she released a solo record this year, her first solo, and I think there's a remix version of that coming out. It might only be digital at first, I'm not sure. Mickey Berenyi, sort of the lead singer of that group, she actually not only has released a couple of albums since the Lush reunion as Parashka, with her husband Moose. He's in the band, from the band Moose, from England also. So there, she has a couple as Parashka, and then there's the Mickey Berenyi Trio is out touring now. So it's the same three people. Two of the people I think are the same. I can't remember if all three are, but the drummer, I think it's the drummer. I can't remember. I think it was maybe the guitarist who's, was he in Modern English or something like that? He might not be. I can't remember who exactly the third person is. But anyway, check out Mickey Berenyi Trio. She's got videos on YouTube too. I think there's maybe one or two singles so far. And then they played like a live at KEXP. That's pretty good. But really like Mickey. She also released a book last year, 2 years ago. That was sort of a autobiography. She had a very interesting childhood. Her mother was like an actress who I think appeared in like James Bond movies or something like that. I still need to read it. I'm intrigued. So anyway, it was sort of like growing up in that kind of an environment, because they were also of Asian descent, I believe, and kind of had like how to navigate like the British movie system and all that stuff. Anyway, thanks guys. Really appreciate you watching the video. Again, it's like, these are all running about 45 minutes. Hopefully you haven't fallen asleep. If you have, just rewind and go forward again. You can give me likes. I don't troll for likes. So anyway, all right, take care. Have a good weekend. Some really great music again. And I'm telling you right now that next week is big, but October 4th, it's going to be like Christmas, October 4th. So maybe I'll give you a little preview of that next week. But I was looking at the list last night, and yeah, Rocktober, that starts October 4th too. That's all the Rhino reissues of rock classics that are either hard to get or updated or expanded or whatever. So not like they're not doing that every week. Make every week a Rocktober week, even when it's not October. All right, I gotta get something to eat. My stomach keeps growling. Peace.